Welcome to the Heavy Sweater Podcast. My name is John King. If this is your first time listening, this is the Heavy Sweater Podcast, a deep dive into the beginnings of Australian musicians and bands of the heavy variety. This week we've got Sydney's Finding Better Health. They're a fucking sick band. They have a single out now called Single Serving Friends, and you can listen to that wherever you listen to music. And Sundays are fucking sick and working super well for the schedule for the podcast. It's fucking sick. So if anybody that has jumped days with me, thank you. I appreciate it. Also, this week is the last episode of the year, so thanks for listening to that. We'll be back on January 2nd, and yeah, it'll be fucking sick. I hope I'll have a new intro and everything, and I'm going to be doing some work on the podcast. But yeah, it's Sunday, and you know what that means. Sick. Hey guys, how you doing?
Very good.
Good.
Sick.
Sleepy.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we'll get into like everything with you guys. You aren't like a particularly like overly heavy band, but like I fuck with what you sound like. So we'll go like into the beginnings and like what kind of got you guys into like more rock or heavy music.
Hell yeah.
Well, that mostly starts with you in terms of heavier stuff.
Well, I mean, we kind of had different paths
Yeah.
and converge.
Yeah.
Like, so when I was like 13, 14, I got like super into Black Flag,
Okay, fuck yeah.
like all the old like 80s, like American hardcore.
Yeah.
And of course, Nirvana was like a big one for me when I was that age. And I like desperately wanted to be Kurt Cobain. But then that led me to like a bunch of super cool shit, like Flipper, like Minor Threat,
Fuck yeah.
all that early hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
And I like fucked with it super hard. And there was a friend of mine, Jim, who's like in the band now.
Sick.
And I was showing him that shit, and he really fucked with it. And then we kind of like became close friends, just over like being the only dudes at our school that were into that sort of stuff. And then it's kind of just developed from there. So like as I got older, like I discovered more bands, and I kind of like moved away from being like the hardcore kid.
Yeah.
Whereas like when I was 16, I was like, anything that isn't hardcore is shit.
Sick.
I was so gatekeepy about it.
Yeah.
But like as I grew up, I discovered more shit, and like I was super into like a lot of bands on like Sub Pop and Hardly Art.
Okay.
Bunch that sort of noise rock shit, like Mets.
Fuck yeah.
They're fucking cool, Mets. And yeah, man. Then I just like discovered Sunny Day Real Estate, and then that was when I started writing all the stuff for this band.
Okay, fuck yeah, cool. What about you?
For me, I was always around like 14 to like really like 18. I was just
like a hip hop guy, weren't you?
Yeah. I was also just like a big pop punk guy.
Okay, yeah.
You know, like Blink is still my favorite band of all time, I'd say. And then I started hanging out with Riley, who plays guitar in the band.
Okay.
And then he started showing me some stuff that was basically what I liked, but just a little heavier.
Yeah.
And so I started getting into like post-hardcore. So, you know, that's when I got shown Endless Heights and Touche.
Yeah.
And I started listening to a lot of Being as an Ocean, which is like an American hardcore band.
I fuck with Being as an Ocean so hard. That's where I went into like mosh retirement on Being as an Ocean. I went so hard, I was like, I'm done forever. I'm retired from the pit.
I love Being as an Ocean.
Yeah, they're fucking so good.
Cool pace at such a young age. He introduced us to so much shit.
Yeah,
like we were listening to Skrillex, and he was like, "Have you heard CA?"
So sick.
Fuck you, man. Why do you have to be so cool?
It was cool.
Yeah.
And then it sort of just flowed from there. Me and Riley started jamming together pretty young, and then that turned into like sort of refining both of our tastes when we met each other. And then when I joined the band, it sort of just clicked because we'd
Fuck
already
yeah.
jammed together so much. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck yeah. That's sick. Going from like Black Flag as a starting point is so wild to me.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
that's
know,
so,
man. Like,
so hectic.
I don't know. I thought that shit was so cool. And like,
Yeah.
it was more just like the whole vibe of like, just like, I don't know. Half the shit that I love is always like, it's going to sound like I'm crazy or like high or something, but I really am not. But like, it's kind of like when all the guitars and like the drums and everything like fills your ears up. And
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, there's just no space. And I
Yeah.
hadn't really heard anything like that before.
It's more real, I think, because now music's so like in the grid, like locked in. But
Yeah.
like old Black Flag is like you can barely hear the vocals. Like,
Yeah.
it's so fucking sick.
Especially like My War,
Yeah.
like the B side of that album, it's just all this sludgy, like heavy, slow shit. And must have really pissed off like all their fans back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah, for sure.
But like even just their whole like aesthetic and approach to music, I just thought it was the coolest shit ever when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I
and
still do.
Even
Yeah,
now
fucking-
with like Mike Vallely.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, there's like a bunch of shit that's happened with Black. Like, they all kind of fucking hate each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't really keep up with them now. But like, yeah, all the Rollins
Yeah.
stuff, and even before, like, Nervous Breakdown is such a cool song.
Yeah, they're sick band. I think they don't get the credit in like hardcore they should get.
No, not at all. And
Yeah.
like, just the way like they were. I don't know. Have you seen? There's this interview that this like 15-year-old kid did with Henry Rollins and the guys
Okay.
from Black Flag on the My War tour, and they'd all like grown their hair out,
Okay.
and the kid's being like kind of a little shit. He's like, so have you guys sold out? But Henry Rollins is being like a real fucking piece of shit, and he's like, let me tell you, man, let me tell you a thing, you little fucking punk, about selling out. And he's just going on about how like they eat like fucking raw meat and they like don't sleep and they play like hundreds of shows. And this
Yeah,
little
yeah.
kid's just like, he's like getting his face and shit. I'm like, wow, you're a fuckwit, but that's so cool.
Yeah, he would not give it a shit. It's so sick.
Yeah, it's
Fuck yeah.
crazy, man.
Cool. And then
Motherfucker.
through like that, we kind of got like a bit of a history of like this band. And were you guys in like sort of scene bands before this band?
So I
Yeah.
just had a lot of like hardcore
Okay.
shit I did. Nothing that we ever like played like a ton of shows or like
Okay.
recorded a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
But it was all just like trying to be Black Flag, trying to be Mets.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. And yeah, it was mostly that. And then
Okay.
yeah, fuck, I struggle to remember sometimes. But you had that thing with Riley for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, I did some little just like jammy stuff with Riley, recorded some demos, but
Okay.
yeah, FBH was my first like time ever taking it seriously.
Yeah, sick. And you guys are taking it like proper fucking serious. It's sick to see.
Yeah,
we
man.
we
I-
fucking hate our
I
jobs.
don't want to make music anymore, man. Like
Yeah.
we every time we work together.
Yeah.
Every time we go to work and we have to make another fucking burger, we're like, shit, man, can we just get a hit? Like,
yeah,
Fuck yeah.
we're all in.
yeah, fully.
Fuck yeah, that's sick. It shows like definitely you guys are putting like heaps of work into like the aesthetic and the sound is like a really like Triple J friendly sound, which is fucking sick because it like also appeals like that Trophy Eyes sort of crossover, which is fucking rad.
Do you fuck with Trophy Eyes?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
they're
I
rad.
didn't. If I'm honest, that song that's like, is the tickets to our shows. We put all the money that you spent straight up our nose.
Oh,
do you know
like
that
it's like a newer
Yeah.
song. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm
too
not,
big
like,
on like that, but like
super
the
into
last
it. Our
album
stuff is
was
cool,
pretty
though.
sick. Yeah.
yeah.
Chlorine
Yeah.
is fucking the best. Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like the sound of it, that is definitely pretty purposeful, like choosing
Yeah.
something that could be like, is that us?
No.
Choosing something that like could, be digested by a wide range of people, something
Well, that's
that,
our first single anyway.
yeah, like something that could do really well on Triple J and like The Faction, just in terms of like the debut single.
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
sick. And like being a band like that is like putting that out as your first single makes you sort of like a gateway band to get into like heavier bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
And we've
fucking
got
rad.
heavier shit to put out too.
Yeah.
Much heavier stuff.
And we've also got like, what is that fucking sound?
I don't know.
And we've got like lighter shit too.
Yeah.
Cool. Fuck
But,
yeah.
like,
So like a broad
I like
range
that.
of like within your sound.
Yeah.
That's
But
fucking
I
sick.
feel like this song's just like the happy medium of like,
Yeah. Super.
Okay.
you know, it's not a wussy song, but
No.
it's not like it's not gonna make my mum cry when she hears it.
Yeah.
It's
Sick.
funny, man. Like whenever I don't know about you, but I think I showed my mum it when we recorded it. She was like, "This is gorgeous, Harrison. This is gorgeous." And she got to like the bit like
The
with the
bridge.
screaming. She's like, "Oh, I don't like you yelling here."
My mom's like, oh, he's so creative.
I think all parents kind of like that. Like when I played my first show when I was like, I think I was 19, my old boy came out and he's like well into it. Like now he's like 75, 76. He's a proper old boy. He came out and he's like, so you did good, but I don't know what the fuck that cunt was saying on stage. Like, I have no idea what's going on here. I was like, you're a legend. Like, that's so rad.
Right. Oh man. It's just like it's so funny how like supportive parents are when like you can just tell they kind of like yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. It's sick.
It's always like, oh, I like your songs when you're just playing an acoustic guitar. Boring.
Yeah. You want the live aesthetic, the show, the energy.
Yeah,
All the good
exactly.
shit. Fuck yeah, cool.
That's why it sucked not being able to play live.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, you guys getting shows yet? Like down there?
We've got one on the 10th.
Yeah. We're
yeah.
playing at the Vanguard on the 10th, which is going to be cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think we're pretty booked up until the start of next year in terms of shows, I'd say.
Sick.
In terms of trying to find more shows in December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got
live.
offered one. I forgot to tell you
Oh,
at UNSW,
that would be cool.
but like a proper like not a sit down bullshit one.
Oh,
Like a
really?
cool one. Yeah.
Oh, fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Sick.
But no, playing more shows is like a huge part of what we want to do
Yeah.
next. You know,
Yeah.
we've spent so long like writing and refining and such that we have a great set list ready, and we
Yeah.
just want to show it to as many people as we can.
Fuck yeah. That's sick. Fuck yeah. Cool. And like now, by the sounds of things, shows are opening up down there. Because it's been like that
Yeah.
in Queensland for a bit. Like we just did 2 shows back to back, Gold Coast, Ipswich. And I think like 3 weeks before that, we did Toowoomba, Nambour, and then we did
Mm.
Brisbane. And then we've got Sunshine Coast this weekend. So like
fuck.
shows in Queensland are wild. But
Really?
how,
Damn.
yeah, shows are like popping off. It's
Sick.
fucking sick. But Sydney, what's that scene like through this entire fucking deal?
Man, am I gonna be a wanker if I say it's not been fucking good since like 2016, 2017?
Yeah, I think like the Sydney scene died off hard at one point.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there was like a point in time where like Blackwire Records was popping off. Like,
Okay, yeah.
there were a bunch of shows at Beat Disc. Like, there were a bunch of like little venues in Marrickville,
Yeah.
and I like. It was like the coolest place to be, well, for me anyway.
Yeah.
And so many cool bands, but like, there's still like cool bands going around, and I guess like more and more stuff's opening up. But it's just like the kind of grassroots shit I feel like hasn't been there for a while. Like
Yeah.
the pandemic definitely kind of killed a lot of it off too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
remember
we
like
haven't-
yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like we haven't been able to play like we haven't been able to play a standing show in like 2 years basically.
Yeah.
Like
Fully,
even
yeah.
even in between when we opened up a little bit, it was still sitting down.
Mm.
And the thought of a sit down show just really bumps me out.
Yeah. Fuck that. When they were doing them in Queensland, I was like, nah, like we're not playing
So,
shows until people
yeah.
are standing.
Yeah.
So that's
It's
wild.
we did one of them. It was like an art gallery thing.
Okay.
That was
At,
kinda
I was
fun.
at UNSW, but it was kind of like in a lecture amphitheater.
Okay.
And like our thing is always like, because I can't really, I'm not the best singer in the world, like,
Okay.
but I think that doesn't really matter. It's not like we're trying
Yeah.
to play Adele songs.
Yeah.
But when we play live, like, we always want to just like turn up as loud as possible and be like 10 times as loud as anyone else. But then that means you can't like hear me sing very well, which is
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, there were like parents and friends of like all the uni students there, and like a bunch of parents sort of just sitting in the front row. And we were like, should we just like play some softer stuff, give the people like a nice show, or should we like go as hard as humanly possible? So like, I'm like spitting in this motherfucker's face, like like microphone cable wrapped around, like
Yeah.
it was cool. Like,
It was fun.
but it would have been cooler if people could stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Sit back.
Yeah, we made the same decision a while ago to not play until they was standing up.
Yeah. It's just
We
like,
saw Shady Nasty play, which
Yeah.
was cool. but
okay, yeah.
just like such, because like it's such cool music that you want to get up and
Yeah.
knock
Shady
shit
Nasty
over.
especially.
So like it was weird to sit down and like eat a meal and watch Shady Nasty.
Yeah. Well, it's hard
That's
enough to get
kinda-
people like moving off the back wall doing these ones that fucking impress me, bros. Like, could you imagine them sitting down doing that? Like, you're not
Yeah.
gonna win.
Right? No, it's also just terrifying to look at for me. Yeah, super.
Okay.
Stand on stage and like just see people sort of sitting.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, you really are just people just sitting there, and then I
Yeah.
feel weird about it. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. It's like the Escape the Fate music video come to life.
I don't know that one.
The Not Good Enough for Truth and Cliche, like the original like Escape the Fate. It's like set in like a cafe diner thing, and they're like
Oh,
playing.
sweet.
They're playing up the back, but everybody's just like sitting down. That's fucking.
Yeah, that's what it
fucking
feels like.
That's like you know, Green Room, when they are have you seen the movie?
No.
Oh,
You'd
wow.
fucking love it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's like Anton Yelchin, and it's about like a hardcore band. They play like classic like DC hardcore.
Yeah.
And they're on like tour, and they meet up with this guy who was like booking a show for them, and he's like a radio dude. And then he's like, damn, the show got canned, but I can like get you another show, like it's a matinee at a diner. So then they're just like playing this fucking hardcore music at a diner.
That's so sick.
And then they get really mad at this guy because there's like 3 people there just eating their lunch.
Yeah.
And then the dude's like, no, don't worry. I got you another gig, but just like maybe play some of your heavier shit. And it turns out to be like at a Nazi punk club.
Oh fuck.
And it's like
Fuck.
it turns into a horror movie from there, but it's so
Yeah, it's
fucking
cool.
it's
That
so
sounds
cool.
wild.
It's awesome.
Fuck yeah.
It, like you definitely check it out. It's
Yeah,
one of
I'll
my favorite-
fucking hit it up after this. That sounds
Yeah.
fucking hectic.
It's so good,
It's so
man.
sick.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. But like going back to like the grassroots and like venues and
Yeah.
stuff, I think
Yeah.
the last like venue that seemed like it was trying to help the scene was like Frankie's Pizza.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know. It's a cool venue. Like,
Yeah.
I often end up there on a night out. But even then, like, I think sometimes they just start playing up like the rock and roll angle.
Okay.
It's like let's just play like real rock and roll bands, which I
Oh.
think can be a little lame. But yeah, like, there's a lot of venues around Sydney that are just like, come see like Shitwick and his crew of high schoolers play Tame Impala covers,
Yeah. Okay.
which is fine. Like that's how everyone gets started, like being in a band. But like it's kind of tough to find like cool new music.
Yeah.
There's not really like a venue for it. And like
Okay.
Frankie was that venue for a while, and like Blackwire was definitely that venue for a while.
Yeah.
Even like Beat Disc was that for me when I was
Okay.
younger. But it's just like I don't know. It feels wanky to say, but it's just like not popping off as much as it used to.
Yeah. So I remember like when I was a kid, like 13, 14, I was friends with Aaron Gillies from like this band called My Hollow Fantasy. They were like a metalcore, like grindy band. And like back then the scene seemed like it was fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like Sydney was going off and like Melbourne was going off and Brisbane was going off, and then Brisbane died, and then Sydney's like slowly just been like getting killed off, and Melbourne's like the only strong scene still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're right, man. It's like a slow death. It's
Yeah.
kind of,
It just needs
Well,
a,
it's weird
a
to see
kick in
that,
the
like-
ass.
Yeah. It's weird to see that, like, coming out of the pandemic, for some reason, like, since Melbourne got it harder, they seemed like, I don't know, there was like a buzz down there about live music returning. And I
Yeah.
just haven't seen that really in Sydney at all.
Yeah.
It's also just not super clear. Like, there was never like a date when, like, all right, live music's back. It
Yeah.
sort of just like trickled back as different venues started to open.
Okay.
Some were sitting and some were standing, and then
Yeah.
it sort of slowly opened up, which I don't think
Yeah.
helped at all.
and it's not much of a thing to like go and see like bands for a lot
No.
of people. Like to go see live music, and like this is fine, but like to go see live music for a lot of people is like, oh, let's go to the Enmore and see Gang of Youths,
Okay.
or like let's go to the Horden, or let's go to Kudos Bank Arena and watch Ed Sheeran play.
Yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Which is
it's
fine,
just-
but, like,
yeah.
Just going to a bar like this, it's not like a really popular thing to be like, oh, like let's hit a few pubs and see what sort of bands are playing tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas I
That,
think even like especially in like the fucking 80s, that was like a huge thing.
yeah, well, like that, like curiosity of like what are the bands getting around on like the lowest level or like higher up,
Yeah.
just like any
Yeah.
venue playing any bands. There's
Yeah.
like less of that now.
And that's why I think you need you always need like one or two venues that are just putting on the cool shit.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't think Sydney kind of has at the moment.
Yeah, well,
I could be
Crowbar
wrong.
was like that in Brisbane, but
Yeah.
I feel like Crowbar in Sydney like got the worst luck of all time. Like they opened and then like pandemic straight away.
Well, they were the Boldface Stag, right?
Before that,
Yeah.
I don't know, because it
So-
was Crowbar in Brisbane, and then they were like, "We're going to Sydney."
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure where Crowbar was called the Boldface Stag.
Okay.
And they had like a massive thing about not paying bands.
Oh,
So I think like that venue's got a little bit of like bad juju for a few bands. Because like
when it was Boldface Stag, they weren't paying bands.
yeah, they were just getting like stiffed on
Yeah,
like
yeah.
guarantees and shit too.
Okay.
So like, yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, all scenes need a kick in the ass for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for
big
sure.
time.
But
big
yeah,
time.
fuck yeah. And you guys obviously have more music coming out. Is there like any date or time period on that? Just when it comes out?
Just early next year
Sweet.
is the plan.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Um,
more about like
playing live is the number one thing
Yeah.
for us
Yeah.
right now.
is our priority.
Yeah.
And it's also we're sort of, all of us, I think, are very like protective and like sensitive, I suppose, about like how the music sounds when it comes out.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure in terms of just getting people to listen to the music, just releasing all the demos we have of everything would be a way to go.
Okay.
But I think we're really trying to make each release very important and like permanent. And so
Yeah.
it's just like playing
Yeah.
enough shows and working enough to save enough to buy studio time, and then it
Yeah,
all
yeah.
sort of
That's like
repeats.
dressing for the job you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's like the hardest part about like getting your band off the ground, aside from like the social media side of building your name, is like the having the money to pay for certain things.
Yeah.
Because
Right,
like
it's-
studio time's
It's so
expensive.
expensive.
Photos are expensive, videos are
Yeah.
expensive, like everything's so fucking expensive. When you're playing shows for like $50 to $25 a show, like you can't really afford that other
Yeah.
shit you need to like get higher up.
Dude, it's like there's so many hidden little costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's very-
Well,
yeah.
I bought this guy, save us some money on like videos and shit.
Oh,
Shot a
fuck yeah.
playthrough, editing it. I think our last lyric video I edited in like 7 days on a free trial of Adobe Premiere Pro with stock
Yeah.
footage. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna fucking smash this out, save $1,000, like fucking sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because we got super lucky when it comes to Sorry. When it comes to photos and videos, because
Yeah.
we have a friend who's like in the band in terms of like photos and videos.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He's like our guy.
yeah, he's our guy.
Sweet.
So like he did all our promo photos. He did the whole music video and edited it
Fuck
too
yeah.
with
That's
us.
sick.
And like so it was all obviously we paid him, but like not like we would have to pay someone else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We got
And he was
super
like,
lucky.
that kind of makes us sound like we stiffed him on money. He was like, no, I just get me some beer and sort me out with
Yeah,
a
yeah.
day's
He's
pay.
like he's a
Like,
buddy.
"Hey,
He's
man,
always
yeah.
like doing it on like a
He's
mate's
just-
rate.
He's just the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Fuck yeah.
just a super nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And it's
cool.
nice to work when you're working with a friend that close, like they're just as excited about what they're
Yeah.
doing as you are.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
you can tell. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. That's sick. Especially like if he's just like starting out or doesn't get as much work as like he would like, getting to work through you guys, getting like the experience would be hell exciting.
It's also kind of like he just likes making cool shit. Like
yeah.
Fuck
we
yeah.
get excited about writing songs. He's just like, fuck, like this shot's cool.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Sick.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Fuck yeah, cool. So shows, just fucking bringing the Sydney scene back to life.
Yeah.
strapping it on our back,
Yeah.
carrying it.
Fuck yeah. Sick. Awesome, guys. Well, we've probably been going for about half an hour, I guess, roughly. So we'll hit your top 5 favorite bands each, and then socials for everything, and we'll shut it down.
Sweet.
Easy.
Well, I think I've got mine mostly ready to go.
Get your Spotify wrapped out.
Yeah. So I'd say my top is always going to be Blink-182.
Okay.
It's just like the way that like their sound evolves when Travis came in, and then when it evolved again after Tom came back from like the Angels and Airwaves tour, like the way it's changed from album to album.
Yeah.
But that's everything before Tom left.
So you don't fuck with Matt Skiba?
I like Matt Skiba,
Yeah.
but I really don't like what they've been doing since he's been in the band. I don't think that's his influence. I think they're just, every band has its natural course.
Yeah.
And I think, you gotta, like if you're just gonna keep making the same music that you did however long ago. Yes. And then Frightened Rabbit.
What was that?
Frightened Rabbit.
Okay.
The world is a beautiful place, and I'm no longer afraid to die.
I've heard of them. Through their drummer for a while, Ryan Seaman. Yeah, like when he joined that band, I was like, "Who the fuck is this band? Like, that's such a long name."
Yeah,
Yeah,
so they're cool, bro. They're great.
Super cool.
And then I'd probably say Touche.
Yep.
Being as an Ocean. And is that 5?
Yeah, that's 5. We can wrap Being as an Ocean and Touche in one. They're very similar.
Let's just tack on King Crawl.
Okay.
I love King
Fuck
Crawl.
yeah, sick.
All right, fuck. Oslo.
Okay.
Number 1. Like they're what made me want to like actually be in a band.
Fuck yeah.
Nothing are super cool.
Okay.
Do you know them? They're like so like the lead singer was in, fuck, I forget the name of the hardcore band, but then he got done for attempted murder.
Sick.
And got out of jail, and they decided to start a shoegaze band. So it's just like all these fucking scary looking, like
I didn't know that.
hardcore dudes.
That's sick.
It was like gang related. Like he wasn't like,
Okay.
it was like,
Sure. Okay.
Gang aesthetic.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
But like
Sick.
then they all started the shoegaze band, which I think is fucking cool. Frightened Rabbit as well.
Cool.
The Midnight Organ Fight is like one of the best
albums ever.
That's a fucking sick name for an album.
It's awesome.
It's like, it's the best.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it
Fuck
makes me cry. The Hotelier,
Okay.
especially the album Home Like No Place Is There, is a massive one. And rounding it out, what is that?
I think there's a truck outside.
Oh, okay. Fucking rounding it out. Let's go with La Dispute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, sick.
Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely like across the band, we all share like a pretty common.
Yeah. I'm gonna go check what the fuck that
Yeah.
is.
We'll see. We'll hit you guys socials and then shut it down.
Yeah. So it's just Finding Better Health AU.
Yep.
It's just Finding Better Health AU on Instagram
Sweet.
and Facebook as well.
Cool.
YouTube is just Finding Better Health.
Yep.
It's probably best to just go to the Instagram and then there's like a link tree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New
Fuck yeah.
song, new video, new stuff coming soon, shows coming soon.
Hell yeah.
It's all happening finally.
Fuck yeah. Cool. And where does the name come
Yeah.
from?
Have we got a second of time?
Yeah.
Yeah, for a shorter version of the story. Do we say the old name?
No, I don't think we should say it. That sucks.
We
oh
used-
my god.
we
Can we
used-
take it out here? So I can...
Yeah.
We're on the move.
All right. So we were in a band that also had the initials FBH.
Okay.
These guys, when they were around 15, I joined when I was around 18, 19.
Okay.
But it was pretty lame, and it was made, during high school,
I don't
and
think
it was
that lame. It was lame.
it was kind of like an ironic name.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, it sucked, but it was like funny.
Yeah.
And then when we came up with this new single and we sort of found a new sound, we decided that the new project should be like a debut with a new name and everything. And
We'd already kind of jumped the gun.
yeah, we already got the FBH tattoo.
Sick.
So we had to find something else that was also FBH so that we
Yeah.
didn't have these
Yeah.
meaningless tattoos.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
And then we got pretty lucky that a name so perfect was also FBH because
Yeah.
that's all like it's a pretty good encapsulation of what we're trying to do, I think.
Fuck yeah. Sick. Fuck yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for doing the podcast, guys.
No
Of
worries,
course, man.
man.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for having
having
us.
It's all
Yeah.
good. Done for another week. Huge thanks to Finding Better Health for being on the podcast. Super killer people that love music and they just want to put the work in. I fuck with that heavily. That's so sick. I'm a big believer in working hard and trying as hard as you can to outwork everybody. Like I said in the intro, they have a single out now called Single Serving Friends, and that's available on all streaming services, so go check that out and go check them out on Instagram at Finding Better Health AU and Finding Better Health on Facebook. And if you like what I'm doing over here with the podcast, share it, tell a friend, subscribe, and follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you listen, and follow on Instagram and Facebook at Heavy Sweater Podcast. And last little bit of housekeeping. On Friday we played 11 Dive Bar in Shokan. It was fucking sick. I would say the closest thing to Crowbar vibes that I've experienced since Crowbar, which is fucking awesome. Yeah, and thanks to everybody that showed up last minute. The show was up in the air literally until Tuesday, which was wild. And a huge thanks to Sentiment for jumping on last minute. They're a great fucking band, and if they're listening and they want to be on the podcast, hit me up. Fuck yeah, it'd be sick. Yeah, it's a great venue. And anyway, this is the last episode of the year, so come back next year for a new episode. Thanks.